Hello.
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 Yeah, no, I did request to join, and then I realised that I think maybe you didn't know that my handle is DF Dubs.
I didn't know it was DF Dubs because I unfollow you as Guilty Feminist, you see. So that's what I was looking for. Hence, I thought the N Dubs were trying to join me, and I was quite excited.
No, it's me.
But it's you. But that's okay. That's good.
DF Dubs, the Guilty Feminist, the very same.
DF Dubs. Now I know. Sorry about that.
Yes,
Deborah.
for Deborah Frances-White.
Oh,
how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm going to do a little intro because this is slightly unusual. The fact that you're going to be sort of interviewing me. Well, hopefully it'll be a chat, but
yeah.
I want to say thanks to everyone for joining us this afternoon. I have got the awesome Deborah Frances-White, not N-Dubs, with me. Deborah, as you all know, is a comedian best known for her hit podcast, The Guilty Feminist. It's had 80 million downloads, I think, over the last
that now,
year.
yeah.
80 million. That's unbelievable. She's recorded live from sold-out shows at the London Palladium, the Sydney Opera House, the Barbican, the Royal Albert Hall, now beaming to us from her lounge, I think, by the look of it, with the books behind you.
That's this is our living room. Yeah, that's where all the podcast editing magic happens. That's the kitchen that Tom's just cleaned, so it's a fit for everyone to see.
Oh, isn't he good? I love that.
Yeah, he really is.
So we're doing things a little bit differently today. Ever since we went into lockdown, we've had to get to grips with what Deborah is calling the new normal. And she's been interviewing friends of the Guilty Feminist podcast about how they're doing and what they're doing. So today she's going to be interviewing me, I think.
That is correct. That is correct.
So over to you.
So my first question is, how the hell are you?
I am up and down like a roller coaster, I would say. Probably like
you're not the only one.
What, you know, some days I'm like, it's awesome, look, it's sunny outside, I'm getting to spend time with my kids, I'm getting to, you know, eat what I want when I want. And then other days or other moments in the day, I'm kind of find myself sobbing into a glass of red wine about Captain Tom Moore. I just have to even just look at his little face and I'm like off again. So yeah, very up and down, but I'm sort of used to that because that's the life of an entrepreneur. But this is probably more emotion than the normal day job.
I think it's like being hormonal the whole time.
Yeah.
You're really up and down. Really, really up and down. That's how I feel about it. Although I'm getting more even keeled as it goes on. But what I'm wondering is, because the first week I was a mess, honestly, I was like, I would do some exercise and like put the tunes up and I'd be having like a Zoom PT session. I'd open all the windows and I'd be like, I'm fine. If anything, I'm upbeat. And then the second the session would be over, I'd sit down and just sob. And it was so weird. And then now I'm, you know, I've got my routine and I know what I'm doing and I'm not so emotionally up and down, but I'd be very interested to see how I'm in a month, if we're still locked down in a month, because I've never been this long away from people ever. So I think if it goes on another month or 2 months even, it'll be interesting to see how human beings are faring.
Yeah, I think I was on lockdown a week or so before the official lockdown because my husband and I actually got the virus.
Oh, God.
So we had the whole, you know, sweaty sheets, terrible temperature, all of that stuff. And I think what happened was we had that for sort of 7 to 10 days. By 10 days, we were sort of feeling okay again. And so I suppose I then came into proper lockdown going, well, I've beaten that. That's fine. And right now, okay, we're on lockdown. And what happened to me was we all knew that there was going to be another 3-week extension. But when they actually said it, you know, we all tuned in at 5 o'clock and then they said, oh, no, there's 3 more weeks. That night, I sobbed. And I think I just felt like, even though I knew, but once it was official, I just felt, I don't know, I just felt like, when is it going to be over? It obviously has massive implications for the business, for everybody. I mean, that sounds very selfish, but it's hard to sort of plan. And I'm a real planner and a striver, and I'm used to, like you, being with people all the time. And so it's just that thought that, particularly in my house, there's sort of 2 rooms really. I've got my big kind of kitchen lounge, and I've got a lounge, and it's sort of, oh, okay, been pacing in and out of these 2 rooms for bit longer then.
Longer. Yeah, I mean, and when, you know, and we're the lucky ones. I mean, relatively, very, very, very lucky, very privileged. Can you imagine what it would be like to be in a really tiny flat where you couldn't get out at all, or, you know, refugees in refugee camps trying to keep a social distance, or people who really have no food left, you know, like there's so many terrible situations around the world. So that's the other thing, is kind of getting that perspective and going, we can definitely do 3 more weeks.
Totally.
You know, we absolutely can, but also not punishing ourselves when we get very emotional about that, and the hormones do come into play. This brings me to, do you have any new I'm a feminist buts?
I'm a feminist, but I cannot wait to get back to manicures and hairdressing.
Yeah, I was just looking at my roots actually. I don't really get that many greys, but
Your
I've got
roots
just a couple.
are fine. Like,
I've
really
got a couple
fine.
now, and I'm just round here, and I'm like, I honestly, I miss being prettier than I am. I miss the way that you used to be able to be made to be pretty, and now I'm like stuck with what I've got.
I totally agree. You know how you have the kind of Zoom, before you come up, there's usually a photograph of you. And I look at that photo, all like, and then the real me comes in, and I'm like, who is that?
See, I think you look like you have been professionally made up, and I definitely don't. So I'm annoyed by that. Do you have any coping?
Today? I have.
Yeah, well, you clearly can do your own job. Mine will never look as good as that. Any coping strategies for staying emotionally, mentally stable?
Oh my goodness. Family walks. So I'm lucky that I've got a huge park at the end of the road, and I now know every blade of grass in that park. I've tried to go around it multiple different ways, and even that is starting to feel like it looks like Piccadilly Circus. Actually, it's usually really, really quiet, just dog walkers and families, and now everyone in the entire hood is there the whole time. So it's actually quite hard to socially distance or physically distance from people. My sisterhood WhatsApp groups, AllBright Connect, our digital platform, just a way of kind of keeping in touch with people. Crazy memes, anything to cheer myself up. There's always somebody who sends some inappropriate meme or gag.
Nice.
So that's definitely keeping me going. House party. One of my friends has just suggested that we do a full-on disco this weekend.
Fun.
Via house party. She's a DJ, and I am intrigued for how that will work, because I don't know about you, but what I've found, and quite a lot of my friends have started sending playlists around, and we've totally regressed. So we've got 90s playlists going.
Yeah, I think you should all put the same playlist on at the same time in your own houses, and then mute, because music coming through those speakers, it's not. I did one, a friend of mine did one that was fantastic, brilliant music, but often the music sounds quite tinny and it comes in and out. And I was thinking, could you do it so that the DJ provides the playlist and we all press go at the same time, so we're all dancing together, but we can't hear each other's. I did a scavenger hunt for children last weekend, of things they could make and do in the house. So it was things like, it was on Easter weekend, so it was things like that they had to come back within an hour was a picture of a grown-up dressed as the Easter Bunny, or a video of a scene from a favorite movie, TV show, video game recreated by you. So they had to do those, and coins that add up to this, or things starting with this letter or that letter, and they loved it. It was so much fun, and we sent them off. We had so many of them on the Zoom call, and then we sent them off to all do their thing for an hour, but they all left their Zooms on, so that I could see people dashing around or coming back or asking questions or whatever. And then they all came back at the end, and they shared what they'd done with the group, and it was really fun. They all got prizes if they'd, for different categories and things like that. So that was really fun. It was really, really fun. And I do think those kinds of community things, given we can't be in the same room, are extremely useful.
The etiquette of house party and Zoom. I think Zoom we're sort of a bit more used to now because it's meetings, but house party, I've found that a bit of a struggle, because everyone's talking over each other. And yeah, that was a good advice, definitely, on the music side, because I sort of had this vision of a sound clash, because if the kids are on it, what's it going to be? Sort of Ariana Grande meets sound clash with Paul Digweed. I don't know.
No, everyone has the same playlist. everyone presses play at the same time, then you're dancing and singing, but you can't talk. But it's like a disco. You can't talk in a nightclub, can you?
Yeah, that's probably much better use for house party then. Silent disco, scavenger hunt, forget the chat. Chat one-on-one, not 10 people.
Well, the thing about house parties, well, is anyone can drop in unless you lock the room. And, you know, that's with kids that maybe a no. But yeah, stuff like that just takes a bit more thought around the medium, I think is a really good thing. And I do recommend the scavenger hunt.
Have you done any pub quizzes?
No.
Done that? I can't really imagine that either.
No, I don't want to. When we do a show called Global Pillage, which is about idioms from around the world, it's like a panel show, and Ned Sedgwick, who comes up with all the questions, I'm the host, and he comes up with the questions. It's like QI, never mind the Buzzcocks or something. Yeah. And he is a podcast and a live show, and Ned always comes up with something someone from around the world has said, and it was a friend of his from I think from France or somewhere, who said, why do the British like to go to a pub on a Friday night and do an exam? And that's what they were like, that's what they thought pub quizzes was. Like, you're going to the pub to do an exam. Like, you don't have to do the exam anymore. That's the great thing about being a grown-up. Why would you want that? It's brilliant. Are you surprised by anything? Is there anything that surprises you about your own response to this or humanity's response?
Lots of things from humanity's side. The fact that we're much more resilient than I think we thought we were, and also the Brits are quite good at sort of, we've been told to do this, so we're just sort of doing it, as opposed to certain other countries that are not doing it so much. Surprise for myself, well, one of the nice things that's happened is I'm now cooking and baking like a good old traditional housewife. I actually used to love cooking. I was a real sado. I used to take, before I had kids, so like, you know, over a decade ago, I was the kind of weirdo who took cookery books up to bed to sort of read through later, you know, and that kind of go through those books. And then when I had kids, I was just like, right, okay, forget it. I can't do this anymore. And I bought my husband a set of sharp knives and just said, right, crack on. And so I've now rediscovered it, so I'm knocking out kind of lemon and lime cakes and prawn noodles like they're going out of fashion.
Wonderful. So yeah, so I'm surprised by the ability that we have to upskill very quickly, to suddenly learn something, to engage with everything in a different way, with technology in a different way. And I'm also surprised by the patience of Londoners queuing for supermarkets without complaint. That'll never not surprise me, because what the Londoners I know, including myself, are a bit sharp elbows, a bit like, what's the hold up? And Londoners are not doing. Apparently in America, people are like, is this the line? No way. And in London, everyone's just like completely standing at the right social distance, not complaining, not looking, not tutting. No tutting. No, I'm amazed.
Tutting. I know. We've gone back to that sort of very British. We like to queue, and someone's in authorities told us what to do. Right, we're doing it.
Well, it's the right thing to do at the moment. I mean, we need to, but I'm still impressed by it.
Yeah.
Have you read any good books lately? Any books or TV shows or anything you wish to recommend?
Well, I, like everybody, watched Tiger King because, and I thought it was a bit of a joy to be watching something at the same time as everybody, you know.
Yeah, I've only got halfway through that. It depressed me a bit. No, I will finish it, but I'm a bit like, oh God, these people are very depressing.
I know. Well, I've actually been to that area. I visited it, so I found it quite even more entertaining. So I could really imagine those characters. I think I've probably bumped into them. But yeah, first 2 episodes, and it's amusing, but it was quite enjoyable to watch it while everyone else, you know, that sort of appointment to view TV was quite fun. But I normally love a Scandi noir, so I'm half Danish, so I'm normally watching some like terrifying dark Scandi series that I can't deal with at the moment. So I've gone the other way, and I'm watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Very good.
Which is very light and fun and funny, and about comedian, obviously you've probably seen it. So love that. My absolute treat, my highlight for a Friday night is Gogglebox. I've always loved it, but I've got back into it because we just need a bit of a lull on a Friday night.
Absolutely.
What else? Kids stuff. I've done A Monster Calls. that's terrifying, frightening, but good. We've gotten back to some old movies, so we've been watching stuff like Princess Bride and Karate Kid and things with the kids. Always a terrible sound, actually, but still really entertaining. Yeah, and then I think, what else have we been doing? Was that a good list?
That's a great selection. Okay. Any pets, costumes, eccentric things in your house you would like to show us? You got anything nearby?
What have I got?
Children?
My kid. Well, actually, this is really eccentric. Hang on, you can see this. This is what is happening right now in my garden. So we've rechristened our trampoline, the nanny in the garden. I've told everyone not to come in because the wiper's in the kitchen. I don't know whether you can see that, but over there is a sprinkler. Can you see?
Yes.
There's a sprinkler onto the trampoline, and my husband and my son, because I told them they had to stay outside, are underneath the sprinkler.
Wow.
I'm just showing everyone, you guys, in the sprinkler. He's going to be really happy with me for that.
Excellent.
Excellent. Eccentric.
The only person who's shown me a sprinkler trampoline combo, I'll be honest. Have you had a dark thought or a low moment you'd like to share? Because everyone's only live streaming their happiest, most margarita-filled hat-wearing moments. Have you had a low moment where you've gone, oh, I feel really down? I know we touched on this before, but it does encourage people when they hear that other people are struggling.
I think my low moment, I mean, I probably have a low moment every day, but yesterday I really had quite bad cabin fever. I just suddenly thought, oh my goodness, I've done this week, so I've got weeks to go. And I totally, you know, I'm notwithstanding all of the pressures that people are under that are living in small flats and all of that stuff. So I sort of take that on board. But I got into an argument with my husband about the fact, because he was like, it's okay, you know, we've got the park here and we can do this, it's fine. And we actually had an argument about the fact that I said, yeah, but you don't understand, because you've been to the big Sainsbury's, you've been out.
You have been to the metropolis, the glittering metropolis that is the big Sainsbury's. When have I had that luxury? That's incredibly funny.
I know. It's tragic.
It is funny, but those conversations you're having and you go, oh my God, what did I just say? Because we're just not used to this world. Is there a piece of online feminism you would like us to engage in? Say anything you'd like us to follow, donate to?
Yes, two. One is Everyday Allyship, UN Women UK. I know that's also a subject close to your heart. They have just launched this platform that basically pulls together resources, because there's lots of different resources out there, and what they're doing is they're trying to pull it all into one place. So definitely look at that, and they've done that really, really quickly, and they are chronically underfunded, so have a look at that. The other one is Women for Women International. Again, they are finding it hard because, you know, so many people are, particularly bigger companies and brands, have sort of pulled funding from charities. So have a look at both of those. And also, you know, they always manage to do things in a upbeat way. You know, Britta Schmidt, who runs Women for Women, is just the most phenomenal, positive beacon of light and ray of hope in the midst of all of it. So I always check in on her if I'm feeling a little bit down.
Amazing. And can you make stories of those after this, so that everyone who's been watching this can swipe up and see and get connected? Because we need to make it as easy for people as possible. But I think people do want to get involved because it's easy to feel a lack of purpose when you're in lockdown. And so just doing one feminist action that day, either sharing, donating, signing something, amplifying, and even, you know, when charities are really struggling, loads of people just following them gives them a boost. It's like, oh my God, look at all these people who are interested in us, look at all these people who shared our content and got the word out for us. It just gives them that boost that they can push through another 3 weeks. Are there any habits from this time that you think you might take forward? Do you think you might think, oh, I will, you know, I'm gonna think about whether this needs to be a meeting or whether it could be a Zoom call? Do you think there's anything like that, or do you think people will have a reaction to this and change in any way? Like, I'm thinking, I can't wait to dress up again. And I know some people are dressing up in lockdown, but I'm just not feeling that very much. But I was thinking today about choosing an outfit, and I think, oh, I might be a bit more ostentatious or a bit more colourful after this. Like, I might go out and think, you know, even today I like put on this pink top to do this, but I might like really wear a really posh frock to something. It doesn't really need a posh frock because I'm just so desperate to do that. So do you think there are any habits that we will take up because of this or continue on because of this?
Yeah, look, I think it's true. You'll be more appreciative of your stuff as well. So you'll be appreciative of the ability to wear a nice frock and go somewhere. Debbie and I, my co-founder, I were just chatting this morning, and someone was saying that they're pulling together this, I can't remember what they're calling it, which is not very helpful, but the Big Eat or something. And the idea is you'll go to all these hospitality businesses that have been closed down. You'll go to one for breakfast, one to lunch, one for dinner. And her and I were like, can we do that for a week, please? And just costume change between each one. So I think there will be that, but I think as ever, people will fall into two camps, and there will be a whole bunch of people out there who will be more relaxed about the fact that they don't have to have a game face on for work anymore, you know, because we've all seen each other over Zoom in our, you know, pajamas. Or like this morning I keep getting it slightly wrong. When it's a set piece thing like this, I know I'll, you know, brush my hair and put some makeup on. But this morning I was doing a podcast and I was like, okay, result, because I was out, didn't have time, and my hair was soaking wet. I had no makeup on, and I sort of had basically my gym kit on, and they were like, no, it's a podcast but with Zoom, with video. And I'm like, oh my god,
I know everything's bloody videoed now. You go on the radio now, it's all videoed, and you're like, no need, I need 24 hours notice.
Well, luckily we haven't had any howlers. I don't know whether you have, but I have loved all of those memes going around where people don't realize the Zoom video's on and they're on,
yeah, and they take the laptop to the loo or whatever. Yeah,
brilliant.
Do you have any hope for humanity, that humanity will learn something from this, that we will suddenly realize we don't need to take all those flights, the environment can repair itself? Do you think, like, I think we believe in the end of the world now more because something has happened to us in the West.
Yeah.
And we believe in the potential of, so we could see, I think we couldn't imagine it before, not really. Is it possible that we will now go, oh, this could happen again, like much worse with climate change, and we are being told it's going to, and now we can sort of imagine what it would be like to be, for our lifestyle to be completely taken away and our options to be completely taken away? Is there anything you think we're learning from this as the human race?
I think you're right. That's a biggie, but of course it's still, and also we've proven to ourselves what collective action can do. I think sense of community will hopefully be stronger, and hopefully that will carry on. So, you know, people are just on each other's streets or in each other's sort of villages or whatever are kind of coming together. And I hope that sense of community, particularly in a big city, continues. I think that's really important. I think there'll be, I mean, of course, a mass appreciation of all the key workers and so on, but particularly actually some of the teachers, because so many people are homeschooling, and you know, I think they've realized just how difficult it is. So I think that appreciation, and also is interesting, isn't it? I mean, I know there's been lots of conversation about this, but who are we most appreciative of? Some of the lowest paid people in our societies, and they're the ones getting the cheers and the claps, rightly so, because the whole country would have sort of ground to a halt without them. So I think that's tipped everything on its head in a good way. I just hope that it sticks, because we also were quite fast to move on. And I think
this has been a shock, though. It's been a shock and a wake up. But you're right. You know, if we got let out today and then 3 months later we might be like, oh yeah, that time it wasn't so bad, and actually I learned to juggle. And people might do that. So we have to actively take that forward. And finally, if lockdown was over right now, what was the first thing you do? What are you desperate to do?
Well, can I say two things? Because I would run to my hairdresser, and then I would go and eat dim sum.
Nice.
I can't cook that myself, and I miss it like crazy.
Oh, can you not get Deliveroo?
No, not dim sum, because dim sum, they have to, it's a speciality chef, and they can't have them in the kitchens at the moment because they're not getting enough orders.
I look forward to that dim sum hair party after all of this is done with perfect fruits.
I'll meet you there.
Excellent. I look forward to it. It's been absolutely lovely to catch up.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining me, and thank you, Deborah. Amazing questions. Make sure that you tune in with me again tonight at 9 o'clock, where I'll be in conversation with Catherine Schwarzenegger Pratt about her new book, the gift of forgiveness. And if you've missed anything, if you want to feedback on anything, please join us on AllBright Connect, or check out our IGTV lineup. Have an amazing day, and we'll put up the charity pages that I mentioned so that you can get involved.
Bye.
Have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.